Everybody. We have a huge amount of the team with us tonight, which is really great. And for anybody who's joining us on this live stream, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're just going to talk tonight about how the process has been, taking what was going to be a 5-month project and turning it into an 18-month event. We're just going to talk tonight about virtual play and just talk a little bit about that. We welcome questions in the chat. And we're just going to kind of go around the artistic team and speak a little bit about how the process changed for us and what was meaningful. And I will start first. I will say I have learned more about film and the digital world than I ever thought that I would. And I still only know a tiny, tiny little bit. And yet I feel like it has been kind of an artistic gift to get to learn this stuff. And this project, oh my goodness. We started this project in the fall of 2019 as the Looking for Lilith ensemble was kind of reeling from the death of Kathy E.B. Ellis, our colleague and artistic director. And it was a huge shift for us as an ensemble and as a community. And, we needed to walk through that journey together. And of course, to walk through it artistically was an amazing gift. So Erin's play was like, this is the right play at the right time. And then the whole world went into this. Grief is an effing trip, and the whole world has been on the trip together. And I will say for me, during these last 18 months, I have sustained losses that I didn't think I could weather. And living within the narrative of this play has been a gift that has helped me weather things that I didn't think that I could. So I'm going to just kind of go the way that I see folks on my screen and invite people to share what was meaningful about the project, about the process, about the pivoting of it from stage play to virtual. Morgan, can I start with you? You're the first one on my screen. If you're not ready, no worries. Oh yeah, go for
it. Thank you. What was meaningful to me about this play? I really love the songs that Erin wrote. They're really nice, and they do what music does for you. They help give you some settling in the spirit, and they also fire up your spirit. I was excited to join this cast. I am one of the newest company members of Looking for Lilith Theatre Company. Thank you. And it was going to be my first main stage production, sort of ish, that the Suffrage Project, but it was different, and I was excited to be asked to join the cast. I think the work we did in the rehearsal room was really good too. We really joined together as a cast. We were really able to share. Erin was there. One of the things that sticks out in my mind was the coin she gave June, because on the inside, June is a coin collector. That's one of her hobbies. And I tried to stick with that thought of how meticulous and how specific you have to be with collecting coins. And she worked in a bank, so those kind of went together. And the audience doesn't know that, but June worked in a bank. Thank you. And it was just a lot of fun getting to know everyone and then being able to go through all the stages of grief in the play and with the play. We were very close to opening the show on a stage, and a couple months after that was canceled, we started filming, and it was pretty much before other theaters had decided what they're going to do, or before they got a game plan and we're going to move on. So it was really new, and that made the new part of the work more exciting, was to have a new challenge and to see how we can take what we've grown over the last months and completely change it. And I was nervous. I've never acted on film. I've never taken film classes, like theater nerd completely. But it's great to stretch that and to see how it is different, and learn a new skill. So, and I guess that's 2020 has taught us a lot, and I am grateful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Erin,
no
your
doubt.
writing is amazing as well.
And let's talk about the amazing credit reel that Jill and Holly did that showed us in the rehearsal room. Oh, that like pulled my heart out of my body, tore it into bits, and threw it up in the air, and it was amazing. Because that seems like another lifetime ago, that we were actually sitting in the rehearsal room. Oh my God. So Claire, you got anything you want to share? I see you're in your car, so be safe. But what do you got to say?
Thankfully, the car is not moving. I absolutely love this play. It's also special to me because Erin and I were both part of the Derby City Playwrights Development Group, and we joined the same year. So we were two newbies, and I got to see this play being developed that year. And it's been so special to see it start as a draft and go all the way to a finished product, both a finished script and then a finished production. That has just been so special, especially with the play that is so prescient right now and so meaningful. I was the music director, and I was so excited both by the music, because I love Erin's style of music. I love the folky influences, and also I cannot music direct every play that comes along because neither Erin nor I read music. There is no libretto for this. It's not transcribed into music notes. And it was really, really special because I have been trained, much like Erin, kind of more in the school of local musicians than academic musicians, just to play by ear. And it was so special that our skill sets matched on that, and that I had this opportunity to help bring that awesome, awesome music to life. I was not able to be as involved with the filming as I would have liked to have been, just because it's different when you're doing a performance every night, because I was also going to be one of the musicians on stage. And I did get to help with some of the music with the filming, filling in different parts here and there. But that's been the case with most pandemic projects that I worked on. For our safety, we have to be more separated. And that's always tough as artists. It's beautiful to see the final product come together and have that unity there. But that is something that has been tough for this whole year. And that's one of the reasons why I think this play is so particularly meaningful. There has been so much grief and so much loss, not only of the hundreds of thousands of people that have died this year, both as a direct and indirect result of COVID, but also there's been so much to grieve in the abstract, all the time we've lost together, that there is grief for everyone, even for those that didn't lose someone. Everyone lost something. And that's one of the reasons why I think this play is so important, especially now.
Thank you, Claire. Well, speaking of pivoting from live to virtual and all that is lost and all that is gained with that, the next face in order on my screen is our technical director at Lilith, Jill Marie. And I know, Jill, you had amazing sculptures designed for the different stages of grief that were ready to hang in the mix. And then 3D in-person life stopped, and we instead pivoted to this world of how can you create the visuals virtually. I do want to say, Jill, that this guy at the dog park that I hang out with, he was asking me, he watched the play, he loved it, and he was like, now where did you film the group scenes? And I was like, on Zoom. And he was like, no, where did you film them? Because it was like in a school, right? So you achieved something with that school background that he fully bought into, that we were actually in a community center. Totally lost track of the fact that it was 5 boxes of faces superimposed on this background. So Jill, talk about the visual artistic elements and how that whole journey was.
I first saw the show back when they did a reading at the Bardstown, like right after we experienced Kathy's passing. And like, I actually sat with V and I sat with Izzy. And we watched this, and I was just, it's one of those pieces that stick with you even after, you like it's gone, because that's what the joy of live performance is that it's like this experience and then it kind of lingers with you afterwards, right? And that's what keeps us coming back, is that we crave that kind of feeling. And so I just kind of wanted to play on that, and the fact that there's a lot of in the journey of grief, it's not a straight line. It can be very circular in the way that you kind of go through the motions of grief, not always in the same order, but one thing can trigger another thing. So I really saw this roundness with the show. And so I created these hula hoop mobiles that would have like the words of the different stages hanging down from them, and like feathers, very art installation-y kind of design that Erin was really on board with, which it's very rare that you work with a playwright when you're designing a show, which I feel like speaks volumes to our mission of creating a very well-rounded ensemble. Like, the playwright is just as part of the ensemble as the actors, as the director, as the producer, and the designers, and that it takes a village to make a production happen. And it was really cool that she trusted my artistic vision, because sometimes it can be a little out there, which Holly gets a lot of that when she is my sounding board. And we were actually in the process of designing it together when the pandemic happened. And then she decided to go into, the next generation, to a land that we have never seen before, which includes video production. And I just kind of filled in the aesthetical parts. Is aesthetical a word? It is now. And we created Good Grief. And I think I really like the fact that he felt like there was a schoolroom, because there were a couple iterations of what that background looked like. And so I think it was, although I contributed, I think that the one small creative part of my vision still translated very well into this full-length video production of genius, i.e. the Sean Moon, my favorite part. I love the Sean Moon. I love the clouds, and I love how friggin' awesome Find Your People are. That's my favorite.
Sean in the Moon. Sean in the Moon. Hello. And we don't have the fabulous Sean Childress on this call because technology. So if anybody out there in Facebook world would like to ask a question of any of us or Sean, we'll get it to him. And Jill, those hula hoops, they will be realized at some point in the future. I fully believe that this play will happen in a black box theater as originally envisioned, with your amazing hula hoop mobiles and with Claire doing live music. Meg, you're the next one up on the little round of my screen. You want to talk a little bit about how the process was for you?
Sure. So the first thing is, I don't know how many people were aware of this because the show didn't get to go up, is that Claudia was actually double cast originally. So depending on what night you went, you could have seen a different version of the show depending on who was playing Claudia. And I have to say that was an additional gift for me as being one of the Claudias, is getting to see Mandy, who was the yin to my yang, getting to see her interact with the group too, because it was just so lovely. And I'm always learning things from getting to see these brilliant artists around us. So I want to put that out there and say, I look forward to the day that people get to see that wonderful work. Because it was just truly lovely. And when we transitioned it to video in this pandemic, knowing that this was the one thing that would be constant was like that thing that kept me from just going completely cabin fever crazy, because I knew that I would get to at least see your faces on the screen, even if we couldn't be in the same space. I had to learn very differently how to engage with all of you while I was sitting in a chair and not able to see you or like reach towards you or interact with you, but know that I wanted to. And just having this virtual grief group with our little weirdos is just, it sounds weird to say it, like the highlight of the pandemic, but like the one thing that really helped with coping. And I'm grateful for it, even if it didn't come in the iteration we were originally planning. It gave us more time with it. Instead of 2 weeks and having to say goodbye, we got to spend more time together, and I'm forever grateful for that.
Thank you. And we have a question from the Facebook feed. Oh, it's a comment, actually. I loved the way you adapted it to Zoom. I really think there were positives to it, like really seeing facial expressions. You were each phenomenal. You know, that was something I thought about as I watched it, is there was a gift in the group scenes, in the grief support room, of being able to see all 5 faces at once, that in the theater would not be possible. Wherever you were, and we had staged it in the round, you'd be missing some aspect of it. And so that was an unexpected gift of Zoom, to be able to see all of those reactions in real time all together. I'm going to toss it over to Izzy, who played Lynn. Izzy, you want to talk a little bit about what the experience has been for you?
I would love to, and also give me like 10 seconds because I'm going to grab a guest star.
Awesome, we have a guest star. I'm super excited about the guest star. I have a guess about who it might be. And Facebook Live, please keep the comments, questions. It's Poppy!
So, yes, gosh. This has been like a really special show to me in a lot of ways. I'm really, really glad that I've been able to be involved in it. It is so important and impactful to have representative art made by and with people who understand the story that they're telling. So often with neurodiverse characters, they get reduced to like some sort of just like flat inspirational story to make people feel better about things, or burden for some parent character to work through. And to have a character who is different and unique and has unique difficulties and struggles to face, but is a full and realized person who's given so much respect and understanding, even though the way that she interacts with the world is different. And having an acting opportunity that meant getting to explore that part of myself instead of what is so often the case of that is the first thing that I need to suppress when I'm doing acting most of the time. Having a role that let me explore my gender identity more. It's just been a really, really meaningful show. And it's been really meaningful to work on it with this group. And switching to digital, I don't think was anybody's first choice, obviously. We lost a lot. We lost that time in the chairs before rehearsal starts. We lost being in a physical space with people and sharing the weight of heavy things and sharing jokes and stuff. But we also persevered and gained a lot and showed a lot of emotional resilience, practical skill for improvisation, adaptation, working through something really difficult. I think that the way that Lilith has dealt with this, especially the way that everything happened in like not a 1-2 punch, but like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. punch of these really difficult things to work through and adapt to. And if anything, I think we have used it as evidence on things that we need to grow on and change and improve and really worked to rise to that occasion. And I think we succeeded in a lot of ways. And I look forward to seeing how we do that next. So obviously, again, nobody's glad that things happened the way that they did, but I think we made something out of it. Like we got that diamond out of the rough. We made it work.
Thank you. All right, we got a couple more comments here. Oh, we got some serious Poppy love coming here. We have a Poppy. We love Poppy. You all are a bunch of weirdos, and I'm grateful for all of you. Oh, thanks. All right, well, I'm about to throw it to my right-hand woman, V, who I have to lift up as, like, V is an amazing playwright, director, actor, and yet somehow agrees to be my stage manager because we've done that for years, and it's always amazing. And she's my right-hand woman. But then in the midst of this project, I was like, hey, you want to do the thing that you actually do and film some stuff? Sorry, Facebook world. All right, over to you, V. I'm being taken off the air now.
You took my intro. Yeah, because my experience with this play has mostly been like a technical assist for a very long time, because I was also in DCP the year that Erin was developing it through there, so I was very familiar with watching all of that, and then, was initially brought onto this as a stage manager, so my job was to make sure everyone is where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there, and the props are not touched. So that was my gig. When we started discussing the possibility of moving it digital, as soon as anything becomes a discussion on cinema, especially cinema versus film, I'm going to have a lot of opinions. And I have a lot of opinions. And Shannon, being an extremely collaborative director, allows me to voice those opinions. And for some stupid reason, you fools listen to some of them. So yeah, I was mostly just completely fascinated with the project of how to switch some of these things into a completely different medium. Because this is a play. It is flat out a play. And everything that makes the play successful tends to make film unsuccessful, and vice versa. So kind of figuring out that puzzle, and I think we did, in a couple ways, we did, I think, a very admirable job. I'm pleased with our solutions in a lot of it, but that's mostly been what my interest has been through all of this.
We have a couple of other comments here on our stream. We have no one but cast and crew and hands-on playwright would know what Izzy is talking about, that you lost, that we lost something. Clearly, you are so close. Then we have, when the 5 faces were on screen during group interaction, I lost awareness of the separation of the characters and could have sworn there were times when a character joined another in their space as if they were indeed together. That impressed me. Thank you, Ron. Awesome. Well, and that kind of lends itself to the last person in my little clockwork circle here, which is Holly, who had the job of taking all of the footage, Zoom footage, self-filmed footage, V's footage, putting it all together and making a cohesive narrative. Holly, talk to us about that.
Well, I'm the crazy one that was saying, yeah, why don't we just film this? It'll be easy. It'll be great. Because I'm a little crazy. But yeah, I was going to be the scenic and props designer with Jill. And when this pandemic happened, Holly was like, let's pivot to the virtual world. We can do this. So I then was like, okay, I'm going to film this. And then I was like, wait, no, I'm not going to film this because I'm going to be filming the suffrage project that we're doing. And so then thankfully V was amazing and filmed a whole lot of stuff that I did not get to and was amazing. So I was already I'm kind of a, techie dorky nerd and like video editing, and I've been doing all of that stuff for a really, really long time, but not on a like 2-hour long basis. More shorter things and music videos and stuff like that. And yeah, I thought this is going to be simple. Well, it was a little crazy, but it was awesome. And yeah, so I took everything that was filmed and put it all together, and with the help of Erin, our fabulous playwright, worked on some music and the audio and all of those transitions. And I want to thank everyone, especially Shannon and Erin, for going with my crazy ideas. Because yes, it's a play, but it's not in this form, and it's also not really a film. And you know, I've studied film, TV acting, and took film classes and all of that stuff, and I realized there's a huge difference. And for me, I also wanted to I want to make it real, you know, like you're watching a play, but it's just filmed in different places. I didn't want it to be like a film, you know? I wanted it to be something new and crazy and exciting. And yeah, I don't know what else to say except thank you. And this has been like one of my absolute favorite projects either. And Erin, the script and the music are absolutely amazing. And so is Poppy. And I have a lot of things that I kind of pull into the whole Poppy thing, you know. I carried around stuffed animals for a long time. And, you know, I just like really, I don't know, connected with the play on some very strange, weird personal level. And thank you.
Yeah, thanks to all of you. I want to lift up, and I'm going to give a few minutes for anybody out there who's watching this Facebook live stream to throw in any questions they've got. I just want to lift up a huge thank you about Find Your People, which a couple of people have already said, like, oh, Find Your People was so great. The way that Erin wrote the stage directions is that all the characters are in their own spaces, thinking about Claudia's words about Find Your People. And in my mind, this translated to a dreamscape that we had created on stage with our great costume designer Tim, like, oh, okay, Calvin will have a CPAP machine. And then switching that to a digital version, I mean, I wish you could all have the joy that I had listening to the raw footage of V filming Izzy and being like, okay, they're in your bed. They're to the left, they're to the right, and all the little side coaching. And then Holly adding the clouds. The clouds were brilliant. The little clouds around her head. That scene is a microcosm of, I am so amazed that I could have an idea and other people's brains made it real in a way much larger and better than what my brain had originally envisioned. Yeah. All right, let's see. Do we have, I think I see one more comment. It's an effing trip with the best people around. Yay.
I want to mention how grateful I am to just everybody for putting so much time and energy and fairy dust into this thing. The fact that it turned into, you know, from being a stage play to being this hybrid, I know I use that word a lot, but it's not exactly in one camp or the other of film or play. I mean, it's obviously a play and it's filmed, but just watching everybody figure out a way to make this happen has blown me away. I know it was a ton of work and a ton of different work than what was expected, than people had prepared to do. And I also appreciate anyone who has supported it in other ways and watched the show and talked about the show, that it is, I feel like something that the pandemic brought is that the whole world is done in a different way. And, you know, we didn't know whether to wait until we could do it the way we prepared to do it and expected to do it, or whether to try a different method. And one thing that kept coming up is, no, it's not going to be exactly the way we envisioned, but I think that the world understands that everything is different right now, and that whatever we're doing is presenting it in the way that we can right now and the way that we can make it work. And what came out of that, it just blows my mind. I think everybody did such a great job in the acting and in the filming and putting it together, that it's just been a joy to watch it turn into this production that it became.
And for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, you have 3 more days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, to catch this. It's pay what you can. Y'all, buy this link. Watch this amazing play film thing.
No
Because
spoilers, but Thanos does a snap at the end. No, not a spoiler though.
Awesome. All right. Any last thoughts? Artistic team? You all rock. You make my world. All right, Hillary, tell us when we're not live anymore so we can all go back to being the BFWs that we are.